That's it. Instead of watching it for 3 hours and 45 minutes, there you go. That was the Oscars. Jason Nathanson joining us from Los Angeles. Good morning, Jason.
Does that mean I get to go back to sleep now?
You're good. You're good.
Great job. Okay, cool.
Great job. Is The Shape of Water?
Yes.
Is that a good movie?
Is there fish sex? Is what you're asking, and the answer is yes. There is. There's half man, half fish sex. It's beautifully. Is it Best Picture? I don't know. There's you can debate that. You can debate any of them really. But directing for Guillermo del Toro, I'm on board with that 100%. This is a beautiful picture, and it's the first sci-fi picture to ever win best picture at the Oscars. So it's going to be divisive because it's kind of genre. It's a little weird. You got to get on board with it. But at the end of the day, I love how he talks about this movie, about how it's a love story. It's about, almost literally a fish out of water. And he compares it to him coming to the United States from Mexico as well and feeling kind of out of sorts. And he felt like the creature in this movie. But at the end of the day, he says it's about love. It's a love story. And, if we had a little more love, we'd all come together. We'd all be happy.
All right. Fair enough. I guess it's not everyone's cup of tea. Frances McDormand, and I guess the color of The Shape of Water and Three Billboards pretty much were the big winners last night.
They were. Shape of Water had the most wins with 4. When it came to acting awards, Three Billboards had 2, including leading actress for Frances McDormand and supporting actor for Sam Rockwell. And it was between those two really for Best Picture. We didn't know what was going to win Best Picture necessarily. There was a little bit of up in the air, which is nice to go into it. But, really everything was pretty predictable down to all the wins, including Best Director. All the acting wins were everything as expected. The whole show was kind of as expected, which leads in the end to it being a little boring.
Yeah, no. And as much as it was political and the Me Too movement, I don't think Donald Trump's name was uttered once.
It was not. Mike Pence's name was uttered by Kimmel in a joke, but people stayed away from Trump. And, I don't know if there's some kind of conspiracy where that was done on purpose or not. I would imagine, the worst thing for President Trump would be to be ignored. He probably doesn't like that. So, I wonder if he'll be tweeting this morning at all about the Oscars. He didn't last year, so I don't think he will do.
I thought Frances McDormand having all the women stand up was probably the coolest thing of the night.
It really was. In a night where we needed a little bit of something, we needed energy in the speeches and everything, because, they were good up to that point. But
sure.
Nothing was really standing out. Her moment there where she set the Oscar down and was like, okay, and she took charge of the stage and was like, I have things to say, was really great. And one thing she talked about also, she said at the end, I have 2 words, inclusion writer. And a lot of people are like, what is that? And she came backstage and talked about how there's something in contracts that a lot of people don't know. If you're a star of a certain caliber on a project, you can demand that the cast be, diverse, 50% diversity in gender makeup, and also on the crew as well. So it's not just talking about these Me Too and Time's Up things. What can you actually do about it? So that's what you wanted to get out.
One of the things I like the movie Get Out, which I guess is sort of it's a horror movie in a sense.
Yeah.
But people are making it sort of like it's some type of cultural phenomenon. It's just a good slasher movie, is it not?
It's a good slasher movie if, you're... I'm going to say if you're white, maybe it's a good slasher movie. But if you're not, and Jordan Peele talked about this as well backstage, is he made a movie that he wanted to see that he didn't get to see a lot of when he was growing up. Especially didn't get to see written by a guy of color, directed by a guy of color, and starring a guy of color when it comes to these kind of race things in the horror genre. So it was a cultural movement for a lot of people, the same way Black Panther is a cultural movement for a lot of people as well. And if you're not in that group, yeah, you're just going to go and see it and say it's a good movie. For other people, it's a little more important than that. And I think that there was a real sense there with Get Out for a lot of people.
A lot of people praise Meryl Streep for being nominated every year since the Kennedy administration. But
sure,
it seems like she loses every year.
Well, when you get nominated that many times, that's going to be the case. And I thought she was phenomenal in The Post. I really liked her performance. I thought there was like a subtleness to it, which was really good. It wasn't over the top and showy acting. I love that movie, by the way. The Post was fantastic, and I'm surprised it didn't do better, especially in this political climate. It's about, the spirit of journalism and battling the presidency and the government, and it seemed made for Oscars with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep and directed by Spielberg. But in the end of the day, they couldn't get any Oscars.
I agree. How many eyebrows were raised when Kobe Bryant got up to win his Oscar during the whole Me Too movement?
Not as many in the room and there as were on Twitter. That's where things, I think, really went crazy. Because in this time of Me Too, when a guy like Kevin Spacey gets kicked out of Hollywood for allegations, not that what he was accused of doing isn't bad,
right,
but these are decades-old allegations. Here you're giving an Oscar to Kobe Bryant, who was not only accused of rape, settled the case civilly, and basically admitted that he did, something wrong. There was an issue of consent in this encounter. And so you have people in Hollywood saying we need to listen to the accusers and believe them, and then you give Kobe Bryant an Oscar. I think it was a little hollow and a little hypocritical.
Yeah,
for a lot
no, it was. I sort of took. I was like, wait, what? First of all, I didn't even know he was up for an Oscar, and then he wins it. It was like, wow, that's during the whole Me Too. It was interesting. All right, Jason, get some sleep. Thanks for getting up early with us.
Thanks. Take care.
All right, 6:58.